I was in my house with my grandpa. I went to tell him, and his reaction was he just looked at me and he was like, "Congratulations." Shook my hand and went to sleep. And that's it.
Hey everyone, Esat here. I'm here with two of my really good friends. This is Jack, this is Kacper. We've known each other since freshman year. It feels like such a long time ago, doesn't it?
It's only been 2 years.
Yeah, it really feels, we were so young
Very
back
fast.
and we're gonna talk a little bit about who they are and how they got into Harvard, what they think of Harvard. So the goal here is for y'all to get a good understanding, a true understanding of who Kacper is, who Jack is, and hear about their experience, their background, see if it's similar to yours. You can always feel free to reach out to me or reach out to them. We'd be more than happy to talk to you, guide you through maybe the application. Here's let's just get started, get an understanding of who y'all are, what Harvard's been like for y'all. So, classic Harvard introduction. Let's do name, where you're from, what you're studying. I guess a fun fact.
We also have to do house.
Oh yeah, we also
Come on,
do
that's
that.
that's a classic.
Yeah, that's true. Go for it.
So I'm Jack. I'm currently a junior here. I live in Adams' house. Love Adams. Fun fact. My mom ran me over twice when I was younger. Nothing bad though.
What?
It was just an accident. Very slow speed accident.
Wow. Okay. What about you, Kacper?
Alright, so my name's Kacper. I'm a junior as well in Quincy House, the best house on campus. And fun fact, I haven't seen the Titanic or the Matrix.
Really?
Yes.
What are y'all studying?
Math.
Oh, I study applied math. I did come in kind of thinking I would do government, political science type stuff. Explored stuff. Thought I would study economics. Explored economics more. Kind of arrived at really interested in kind of the tools behind economics, and obviously a lot of that's kind of mathematical oriented.
Oh, nice. Okay. What about you?
Same thing actually. In high school I did more civics, political science stuff. Here I took economics and it just sparked curiosity and just STEM subject.
Yeah. I feel that.
And then I took a math class and I
Yeah.
loved it, so I just stayed with it.
That's crazy. I actually came here thinking I was gonna do poli-sci civics or government.
I feel like there's so many people.
Yeah, right. And then I came here and I just realized economics is kind of cool, history is kind of cool, and just kind of branching out.
Well, part of it's my school had no economics whatsoever. It was
Really?
never accessible to me.
Yeah.
The most I could learn about economics was just reading on the internet on my own. So it was kind of cool to have the opportunity.
Tell us a little bit more about your community and where you come from, and kind of how it's shaped you.
Yeah, so I'm originally from South Florida. Actually, I went to an art school for middle and high school, so starting from 11, I was doing communication arts. So that's stuff like writing, creative writing. I did journalism, some public speaking, and a lot of film and photography. And all of that was really cool, and that was sort of my world in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I think cool thing about South Florida was sort of the diversity around there, and it's very vibrant culturally. And there's kind of a divide between South and North Florida.
Oh, how so?
For lack of a better word, North Florida is kind of rednecky.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they say South Florida is New England transposed into Florida, and that Northern Florida is more southern than South Florida.
Interesting. Kind of curious to learn about your story and how you ended up becoming Jack at Harvard. Most people think you have to be a genius to get into Harvard. Are you some sort of genius, and what do you have to say about that?
I mean, I really wish I could say I'm a genius, but I don't think most people here could. I don't think that's really the point of getting an education at Harvard, right? I know when I came here, a lot of my goals were honestly more soft than anything. It wasn't to have this perfect 4.0 GPA and set myself up to be this great intellectual for the rest of my life. I know that sort of these 4 years are pretty crucial in terms of like becoming the type of person I want to be. And a lot of my goals here were trying to come and make like really good like lifelong friends, have great experiences to remember in college, learn a lot obviously. And I think that like the most valuable thing that I realized here is that everyone here is amazing in sort of their own sense. Obviously, like they get through sort of like the rigorous process in the initial stages. Um, and I know like freshman year, like I and a lot of other people struggled with feeling like sort of this imposter syndrome where it's like I'd grown up like hearing all sorts of these like kind of humongous stories about Harvard and the types of
Right.
people Harvard like produces,
Mhm.
and like never like in my like wildest dreams could I've ever like imagined that like I could be here or that I would even fit in here. And I know freshman year that was pretty tough.
I think that was also the case for like me as well. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think, Casper? Do you also feel like the struggle that Jack was just talking about?
Definitely. I was probably more shocked than anyone else.
Like Harvard's obviously a liberal arts school. Like we were all just talking about how we
Yeah.
came here
Yeah.
thinking we're gonna be the next president of
Yeah.
or create our own country or whatever. But you can switch, and I think that's the point of going to a place like Harvard, right? You don't have to know what you want to do because chances are it's going to change. And I would say probably every single friend I have who came to Harvard thinking they were going to study one thing or become become one thing, they ended up changing it. And I think that's Harvard's goal. They're just looking for people who have a lot of passion and energy. And as you can see by these guys, yeah. So I think Harvard's goal is just to whatever you come in here with, we want to change it. And you don't have to know what you want to study. Like you will figure it out here, just like we figured it out and are continuing to figure it out.
I think what's like really important to sort of like, or at least that I've noticed is almost everyone here, no matter like what they're interested in, what background they come from, like they really want to make some sort of impact in like either a field of the rest of the world or other people's lives. Um, I think that like that's obviously a very like noble cause, but it's also kind of what sort of helps set like students apart and obviously would set some applicants apart.
Yeah, because I also noticed that about most of my friends here as well. You know, they think beyond just themselves and maybe their immediate communities. They try to take a global approach, or even try to influence more than just their friends. They also try to influence their schools or their towns or their states or the world, whatever it is. Was that also the case for you and you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, definitely, like, I did a lot of stuff in, like, public service, types of community service stuff. It was never really with the intention, like, oh, this will look great for college. It was just, like, um, it was obviously, like, fun and interesting to me, but living in Florida, there's a lot of opportunities to help and give back and support the community. Like, there's a lot of poverty around. And, like, still a little bit of, like, kind of marginal segregation in Florida. And so there's a lot of, like, communities to help. I did things like youth justice, like local education, just honestly things that I felt where I could be involved and where it wasn't sort of just like a resume booster, but something like meaningful that I actually gained experience from, learned from, and was actually making an impact.
Right.
And I mean, that's what made it fun at the end of the day too.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. What about you guys?
Until I came here, I didn't really like envision myself being engaged in something that affects like the world on a global scale.
I mean, but neither was I. I was kind of
Yeah.
like local, right?
Yeah, I feel that.
Brando coming from a medium-sized country,
Yeah.
like you don't really think that you're preparing yourself for a 9 to 5, just like kind of going with the system.
You just take it one day at a time.
Yeah. So that concept was pretty new to me.
What's really a shame is that so many people think that Harvard is just meant for people who know exactly what they're doing, who come from families that have already been established and whatnot. But people don't recognize that there are people like you, Casper. The background that you come from. You said you took it one day at a time. You didn't have some sort of plan to change the world, but yet you still ended up being here. Why do you think that is?
I was Probably. So I did a lot of research before I started my application, and the thing I sort of extracted from all those websites is that they, in the application process, they want you to to write a good story about yourself.
Mhm.
So that was kind of my underlying theme. So everything was pretty much calculated, like
Yeah.
the essay prompt, all
The short
all the
question.
kinda-
Yeah.
the teacher recommendations.
Mhm.
I just picked the right teachers,
Hmm.
to kind of encompass all the characteristics.
Yeah.
I also did a weird thing because they don't offer you interviews in Poland
Really.
because they don't have alumni there or people.
Yeah.
basically.
No people at
Yeah.
all in Poland.
So Harvard has this dual degree with Berklee College of Music.
Mm.
So I applied there and I was going to audition for them in London. So I messaged Harvard yo, can you give me an interview in London while I'm there?
That was the exact wording of the email.
No,
Yo,
Harvard
yeah,
admissions.
yo. So, yeah, they didn't respond. So I called them and they said, wow, no one's ever done that. So she just left somewhere, played elevator music for 5 minutes. And then she said I'd have an interview with on Skype with some guy who's gonna be in the committee voting
Oh wow.
to accept me or not. Yeah. So just did a lot of research about him. Asked him about his favorite music and stuff because it was all available online. Anyway, so I was in my room playing League with my friends on TeamSpeak. Kind of just waiting for the decisions to come out. I started kind of going through those rejections, just reject, wait list. I don't know, you've been whatever. And I kind of left Harvard till the end. I just opened it, initial shock for 2 seconds, and then told my friends.
When you saw the congratulations.
Yeah, I didn't jump because I was too confused. I was like, what? Is that a prank? My parents were in Berlin, so I just called them. They were super happy. And then I was in my house with my grandpa. I went to tell him, and his reaction was he just looked at me and he was like, congratulations. Shook my hand and went to sleep. And that's it.
Oh, actually, no, you haven't told me this.
So that was kind of funny.
All right, Jack. What about you? What was your story? Was it as hilarious as this guy's?
No, it wasn't as hilarious. It was honestly kind of sweet, everything. So they were a little late, I remember. They were 10 or 15 minutes late to send it. And so I was picking up my sister at the time. I was actually super upset. I was like, Mom, I'm getting all of these colleges back at this time. Why am I picking up Angela right now and I have to drive her? And I don't use my phone while I drive because you told me not to. I did check my phone at all red lights. Every red light I stopped at. But we got home. My mom couldn't stop herself and she texted me for my email account password. And so I come home with my sister. Not expecting anything. And my mom's just sitting at the computer, sobbing. I'm like, Mom, did I get rejected? She's like, no. And I go look at it, and we all start crying. My dad gets home, also cries. I have really, sort of really warm, heartfelt moment. And then I went to a party after. I was the man that night. I was the man.
Let's share a piece of advice, to let's say someone in high school who maybe they feel like they're good enough or they're not good enough for Harvard, or they're confused as to whether they should even apply, right? What they need to do or whether it's worth applying. Because a lot of people I know who did not apply say, I knew I was going to get rejected, or I just didn't, I didn't have the motivation to. Harvard is too up there. A lot of my friends said that, and it kind of breaks my heart because I know you guys, and you guys ended up getting here, and if you guys had decided, oh, I don't want to apply, it's too good for me, then we never would have been able to have this video, we never would have been friends, we never would have had so many amazing memories. So for that kind of person, what advice or what message do y'all have? Let's start with Jack.
I think obviously with what Esat was saying, like I know my girlfriend Katie like always says like when she was in high school, like she just never had the resources or even sort of the like it wasn't a thing that people did at her high school to apply to schools like Harvard or these types of schools. And like she's saying now as a junior, she like really regrets like not having done that and just like not even like giving herself the opportunity like to see if she could have like even if it's a rejection, it's like far better than like never having known and like having the regret of like having not tried. They're looking for people with like real personalities, literally real people. I think like if you're applying and like working on your application, there's nothing more important than personality. I know people here. Actually, we're lucky enough to review our own applications, and like I've literally like talked to people that were like, yeah, I like scored badly on everything, but I got a 10 out of 10 on personality, and like that must have been what did it. And I think that's something that's like really underemphasized for a lot of high schoolers. People don't realize, but like let your personality show through, because like at the end of the day, like if you're ambitious, if you're like have like a real personality to like contribute to the community here, like this place is a great place for you, and you'll do great things here.
Casper, what do you think, man?
Okay, I'm gonna reiterate something I've already said. People have to realize that they have a misunderstanding of kind of the expectations from the admissions office. Of course, good grades and good standing are important, but it's only a tiny fraction of the weight of the application, I would say. Everyone, pretty much everyone has an interesting story to tell, because I think every life is interesting in a way. It's about how you present it. So even if you feel like you're not doing anything extraordinary or meaningful, it's really not true. It's only the way you present it to the admissions board. If you just have good grades and like one contest you won and nothing else, you're likely gonna be rejected from most schools you apply to, because this is not what schools look for. They look for a cohesive, interesting story of a person presented in an application form. Does that make sense? My application actually was sort of, the main theme was pretty much drums. My essay.
Like drumming?
Yeah, drumming. Yeah, I've just been on tour with my band. We toured around Poland.
Release an album.
You say that so nonchalant. This man toured around Poland in a sit-down with his boys, and he released an album.
Check us out on Spotify, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
Guys, that's all from me, my good friend Jack, and my great friend Kacper. You're only good. He's great. No, I love these guys. Hell. I look forward to sharing my friendships with you guys and kind of explaining to you guys that Harvard really looks for the imperfect, and they want you to become who you will ultimately be here. And these amazing people are excellent examples of that. Thanks for watching this video, guys.
Like, subscribe,
and let me know if you have any questions that you want me to ask my friends, or any particular kinds of people you want me to invite. And make sure to, let me know what you guys are looking for.